Hello, true duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and welcome to the New Card Report, the video series I make to cover cool new things like fire dudes and evil potatoes. Two big things this past week that have the community quite hyped up, I can assure you. Number one would be the reveal of the Duelist pack for the fire attribute in the OCG. The Duelists of Explosion has had a bunch of cards revealed from its first batch. And the second thing would be the effect revealed from the single greatest piece of card art to be printed in 2023, or at least in the OCG, the one and only Mystic Potato. Let's take a look. Yes, Duelist pack, Duelists of Explosion, has had its amazingly over-the-top name revealed, as well as the pack and cover art monster being a depiction of anime boy number 812 himself, as well as what appears to be an upgraded version of Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix, which is, according to people who know what Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix is, because I sure as hell don't. And I don't think many people do. That's what I'm going to tell myself to make myself feel better, because I did not watch the Vrains anime, and I probably won't, because if I didn't at this point, oh well. Still, moving on, importantly from all of that, we have the full reveals for new cards of one of the other archetypes that is being supported in the set, because these sets always have three, and that would be the one and only Battlin Boxers. Yes, the Fire Warriors, before Infernoble became the Fire Warriors, have received 6 pieces of support thus far, with more to come almost certainly. So let's take a look at what it is they gave to Leadyolk.deck to make it more than Leadyolk.deck, hopefully. Up first is Battlin Boxer Uppercutter to No Shock, a level 4 monster. You're going to see that repeated, with 1600 attack and 200 defense, which is notable for this card specifically. It has 2 effects, but you can only use one of them on any given turn. On normal or special summon, it can add any Battlin Boxer monster except for a copy of itself, or a counter trap from deck to hand. Or alternatively, if it is sent through the graveyard by a card effect, you can choose to do one of 2 things. Either special summon any Battlin Boxer from your grave except for a copy of itself, or set any counter trap from your graveyard to your field. Now, that's notable since it can interact with more than just their own new counter trap we'll get to in a moment. It can also get one of 2 counter traps they already have, including the one and only Jolt counter, which is a straight up Infernity Barrier for Battlin Boxers. It just exists. It's just that it only works in the battle phase, so it's garbage. And it explains why I wasn't aware that they had it previously. So close to being good, and yet so terribly, terribly bad. So yeah, it sucks. More interestingly, this can search Flamvel counter. And with its 200 defense, it means that this card can function in Flamvel decks potentially, or if nothing else, you can put the Flamvel counter in a Battlin Boxer deck and it can work, which is a weird bit of synergy, but it's there. Seeing as how it has 200 defense, you can banish it. Ain't that neat? And you got a nice spell trap negate for the deck. Most importantly, really, in regards to this card, is that you can search counter, which is a real trap card, and fun fact, if you get the original printing of counter, it is literally unplayable, because they made a counter trap, but did not print it as a counter trap. Profoundly amazing. 12 out of 10. Battlin Boxer Chief Second has 500 attack and 2000 defense, just in case you were wondering how much potential synergy there was between Battlin Boxer and Flamvel as decks. There's almost none. It's just Uppercutter, and that's literally it, so moving on from that. When the opponent declares an attack while you control a fire and or warrior monster, you can summon this guy out from your hand and then banish one monster on the field until the end phase. Sure, you can do that. Most importantly for this card, however, is that during your main phase, it will allow you to normal summon a Battlin Boxer monster in addition to your normal summoner set. So it can summon itself, which is not terrible, but more importantly, this and any other Battlin Boxer makes whatever rank 4 it is they'd like to summon into. So if nothing, it is decent, which, wow. 2 solid cards in a row for Battlin Boxer. I did not think that that would be possible, and yet here we are. Battlin Boxer Promoter is their third main deck piece of support, this one with 1700 attack and 800 defense, and 3 effects. Wowee! First up, it's a better Cyber Dragon, able to special summon itself from the hand if the opponent controls a monster. Doesn't even matter if you have any monsters previously or not, just they have a monster, you get a monster. Nice. Second, it's also a better Lone Fire Blossom, able to tribute itself to summon 2 Battlin Boxer monsters with different names from the deck, except for another copy of itself. And thirdly, you can banish this card from your grave to increase or decrease all Battlin Boxer monsters' levels you control by 1. You can make them all 3s, you can make them all 4s, which I think finally makes the level 3 Battlin Boxer playable in Archetype, or the rank 3, excuse me. Someone's going to tell me there's like a spell or a trap that made it playable previously, and that person will be lying to us, because calling it playable prior to this piece of support is the single greatest reach since Bungie released Halo Reach in 2010, and we all know that to be the truth, because wow, calling that rank 3 playable is a fucking reach. Moving on from this, however, it is what the fuck, actually pretty good. Actually pretty insane on all things considered. Now, it is worth mentioning that using any of its 3 effects lock you into Battlin Boxers exclusively, which is what we call stinky bad. However, there are nuke cards that make it not as bad as it had been previously, so it does have that going for it. It is a free double Lone Fire in the absolute best of cases, and in the absolute worst of cases, it ate an Ash Blossom for no real cost, except for the lock, because if it gets ashed from any of its effects, you're still under the lock. So that's a shame. But my God, good cards for Battlin Boxer. What the hell? Next up is the new Xyz for the deck, number C79 Battlin Boxer Commander Caesar. This is a rank 5 upgrade to number 79 Battlin Boxer Nova Kaiser. Just disregarding the name entirely. Fuck it, who cares? Not me. A notable trait from Kaiser previously was that it was basically just a soul charge on destruction. So they have a lot of room for improvement, all things considered. Starting first, of course, is the slightly buffed version of Nova Kaiser's effect, in that this card will gain 200 attack per material instead of 100. So, hooray. Even better though, once per turn, if your opponent would special summon a monsters, you can quick effect attach 2 materials from this card to negate and destroy that monsters that would be summoned. And then last up, if it has Nova Kaiser as material, it'll gain the effect that once per turn, if an attack is declared between a Battlin Boxer monster and an opponent's monster, you can send any Battlin Boxer monster from your deck to the graveyard and then attach the opponent's monster that's battling to this card as a material. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. That a Battlin Boxer does not want to be, should I just say battling? But there's an apostrophe after this, Battlin. Nah. Anyway, this needs 3 materials to summon it raw, but it is technically doable using the new, double Lone Fire on crack. So that's worth mentioning, and if nothing else going first, it is a solid strike on legs, which is not the worst piece of support I've seen for a deck. The bonus effect for ranking it up properly will make it even better, able to send cards like Glass Draw to recover resources to your hand, on top of giving it more material to continue to use its pseudo-strike effect. Plus, it happens that whether you attack or are being attacked, you can play with that. That's pretty good. Did we slip into a new dimension where Battlin Boxer is just really solid? Like, the deck was never terrible, but how did they get like 4 good cards in support? I'm so used to Konami making bad fire support. If it's not solid, it's not playable. That just seems to be the motto of fire. You're gonna tell me Infernoble, and look, Infernoble isn't bad, but Smoke Grenade of the Thief is a lot better than Infernoble ever was, and Tops prove that. So color me impressed, that's what I'm getting at. They've also received a new rank 4 Battlin Boxer King Dempsey. Probably said that wrong. This is a rank 4. Powerful, I know. With 2300 attack and 1800 defense. Who wants special summon, not just Xyz, can take a level 4 or lower Fire Warrior or Battlin Boxer spell or trap from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. It's an extra deck Fire Warrior Overraptor. fuck it. Just give Infernoble that too. It can also quick effect detach a material from an Xyz monster to make Battlin Boxer monsters you control untargetable by the opponent this turn, which I guess means it doesn't have to detach its own material to presumably synergize with Lead Yoke. I'm assuming. Just buff up Lead Yoke and make things like Nightmares useless, just, you know, as long as you do it preemptively, because once they've targeted it, making it untargetable doesn't change the fact that they targeted it. The more you know. Anyways, this also has use in Infernoble, as I mentioned, because why not? I don't know how Infernoble will, you know, use it often per se. I don't know. They easily could. I'm not saying they can't. I don't know. They also have the new Link 1 to look forward, Infernoble does. So, speaking in regards to Battlin Boxer, I don't think I need to tell you why. This can search any of their old spell and trap that are actually playable, and it can get any of their monsters, or it can send them to the grave to recover, like last year I mentioned. There's a lot of good synergy going on here. How are they continuing to get good cards this far into the video? I'm actually flabbergasted. That's the only word I know to use to describe it. It's just, my God. Good job, Konami. Just one more new card for Battlin Boxer to go, and my God, are we about to get 6 good cards? Battlin Boxer Cross Counter is their new counter trap with a hard once per turn. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can destroy one Battlin Boxer or number Xyz monster you control to negate the activation and destroy that monster. Then you can special summon one Battlin Boxer Xyz from your extra deck with a different name from the Xyz monster you destroyed and attach this card to it as a material, which is a pretty convoluted way to get the other effective strike other than the one the new rank 5 gave them. It could have literally just been Jolt Counter, but remove the battle phase condition, and it would have been phenomenal, 12 out of 10. But as it is, like I said, it's the other half of Strike that the deck was missing. It can stop summons, and then this can stop effects. It's not good. It's not crazy. It's just not bad. You could also use this to summon out like Comet Cestus. Kestis? I don't know how to say that name. I do know that you should never do that, though. I just mean you could. You can use cards to make bad plays. Lord knows I've done it before. And that's all of the cards revealed thus far for Battlin Boxer. That's at the very least 4.5 very solid cards. The new C number might be a bit of a stretch to use reliably, but it's still solid. And while Promoter is the single greatest Ash Blossom target printed since Branded Fusion, it is at the very least something you can do without using your normal summon more often than not. Although the lock is still applied with Ash, as I said. It doesn't fix the deck, and it won't make the deck that, you know, was a janky battle phase deck back in 2013 like a threat at any YCS by any stretch, but it will make them far more playable at a locals level, which I'm always for it. Lord knows I don't top YCSs anyway. You think I really give a shit if it's like top tier? No. There are a lot of solid effects packed into these few cards, even if their best counter trap is now arguably just Flamvell counter, but fuck it, what a world. It makes me want to consider putting together a Battlin Boxer deck for fun, which is something I didn't think I'd say, and now I'm terrified to look at the prices of these cards. Like, I know they're not going to be expensive, I don't want to be like, oh damn, I could have got it for 3 cents and now it's 50. Like, that's some serious markup, folks, let me tell you. And speaking of clickbait, do you like potatoes? Are you a fan of potatoes? I bet you do, you old school retro loving card fuck you cheeky fella. I bet you like a Mystic too, don't you? Well then, great news for you, because the V-Jump promo has had its effect revealed at last, and it's as good as the art is, potentially. Mystic Potato is a level 4 dark plant with 1400 attack and 1100 defense. The shock of no one. Its effect is that if it's destroyed by card effect on the field and sent to the grave, it can summon any dark monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck in attack position except for a copy of itself, which has a wide number of potential targets. Almost immediately, you can think of any number of powerful dark monsters to summon off of its effect. Armageddon Knight is most certainly the most capable to be abused by this, because that card can start so many combos it's impossible to list in one video, and this can get it out from the deck. You could be cheeky. Plenty of people have talked about how it can summon Sprite Blue if you want to include a Sprite package in your deck. Any Phantom Knight monster is accessible with this for a Phantom Knight package, because Lord knows Rusty Bardish for 2 Fog Blades on top of your regular end board is never a bad thing. And even just the plain and simple summon Malicious for a Dark Warrior package. Or fuck it, Cyberstein FTK. That shit's summonable too. Will it be amazing and broken immediately? I don't think so, not in the current meta, not with what we know is available to us now. But what we are looking at here is a non-hard once per turn summon of a dark monster from a deck without its effects negated. The trouble is summoning this card out and popping it, but there are means to do that. Lone Fire and Aromatherapy Jasmine, what is speaking? The plant Lone Fire Link monster can both get this card out. And then how many ways can you think of to pop a card? 683 million? Probably. I don't think that this is crazy in our current format, like I said, but if a deck could make Summoner's Art into a viable card back in 2014, I have no doubt that something at some point will be able to get this out, pop it with ease, and abuse it to shit. That's just dark monsters, man. They're just abusable. Here I was expecting, like, you know, if you run over Mystic Tomato, you can summon Potato, and Potato will summon back Tomato. So you can run through like 6 tomatoes over the course of a duel, because you just keep summoning Potato and reviving the Tomato, and it's like, I get it. And then you make a salad deck like Mystic Carrot and Mystic Eggplant or whatever. It'll be quirky and wild and crazy and fun. As it is, significantly better than what I thought. So kudos to Konami on that one. And I'm scared to see where this thing goes, because someone's going to break it. Might just be YouTube FTKs, might not be, you know, a threat at your locals, but someone is going to break it. And so that's all there is for this week. So let's go ahead and thank the sponsor. Yeah, that's right, it's the LIFD Magnetic Display. The best means to support the channel right now, and the best deal to get yourself a great way to show off your favorite cards. Did you know you could put a copy of Lead Yolk in there and then leave it on display? And then if someone comes up and asks why you have Lead Yolk on display, it's so you can tell people that it's pronounced Lead Yolk and not Lead Yolk, because you're that kind of pretentious fuck. Or maybe I'm wrong and I'm being a pretentious fuck by mispronouncing it as lead instead of lead. We'll never know. English is indecipherable. It's a language abandoned by God. You know what isn't abandoned by God? You, because you can use a 15% discount by using promo code YGOSTRATS15 at the checkout to save 15% off one of these bad boys. Or you can just click the link in the description and have it applied automatically. Thank you, as always, to LIFD for the support, and thank you for watching. And so that'll wrap it up for this week's new card report, the second one. When does Saturday fall in the week? Is it the beginning or the end? You'll never know, because I'm not telling you. This whole ending's falling apart. Thank you for watching. The regular update will be out on Friday, as always, and in the meantime, you can go ahead and subscribe to YGO Strats for next week's update to impress your smoking Italian wife, and so you too can be a true duelist.